That nagging stiffness in your joints and that bone-deep fatigue you can't seem to shake isn't just a part of getting older. Science shows us it's a silent fire being fueled by your weekly grocery list. Now, when you hear the word inflammation, you might think of a sprained ankle. It gets red, swollen, and hot. That's acute inflammation, and it's your body's brilliant short-term healing response. But there's another kind, a hidden kind, called chronic inflammation. I want you to imagine a smoke detector in your house that never ever fully turns off. It's not a full-blown screaming fire alarm. It's just a constant, low, persistent beep day in and day out. At first, you might be able to ignore it, but over time, that tiny, relentless stress signal wears you down, affects your sleep, and puts your entire system on edge. That is exactly what chronic inflammation does inside your body. It's a low-grade alarm that never stops, and it can manifest as aching knees, a foggy memory, digestive troubles, or that feeling of being completely drained of energy before the day has even truly begun. It's your body's way of constantly saying, something isn't right. Hello, I'm Dr. Emily Hart, and for years I've dedicated my life to helping incredible women just like you navigate the changes that come with time, not with resignation, but with renewed strength and vitality. The beautiful news, the truly wonderful news, is that you hold the power to turn down the volume on that alarm. I'm here today to help you connect the dots between what's on your plate and how you truly feel each and every day. Before we dive into these powerful secrets, I would absolutely love to know where you are joining me from today. Please take a moment to say hello in the comments and tell me where in the world you're watching. It warms my heart so much to see our wonderful community of strong women coming together. And if you find value in our conversation, please consider subscribing. It's the best way to make sure you never miss out on our journey to better health together. So, let's get started by looking at two of the most common culprits. Two things that are very likely sitting in your pantry or refrigerator right this very moment. First, let's talk about the sweet saboteurs. I'm talking about refined sugars and high fructose corn syrup, which hide in so many of our favorite things. Cookies, cakes, pastries, sugary sodas, and even in foods we think are healthy, like certain yogurts and sauces. When we consume these, our bodies release an army of inflammatory messengers called cytokines. I want you to think of sugar as throwing tiny, dry twigs onto that smoldering fire inside you. A single cookie won't create a huge blaze all at once, but that handful of cookies over the week, that daily soda, that sweetened yogurt, they all keep the embers glowing, day after day, preventing your body from ever truly calming down and healing. So what's the swap? It's beautifully simple. Embrace the natural sweetness of fruit. When you feel that craving for something sweet, instead of reaching for the cookie jar, try a bowl of vibrant, juicy berries. Blueberries, strawberries, raspberries, they're like nature's candy. They contain natural sugars, yes, but they come beautifully packaged with fiber, which slows down their absorption, and powerful antioxidants, which are your body's own little firefighters, working to extinguish that internal fire. The second culprit is often found in the deli drawer, processed meats. This includes things like hot dogs, bacon, sausage, and many of the pre-packaged deli meats we use for sandwiches. The issue here isn't just the high salt content. These products contain compounds called nitrates and something else called advanced glycation end products, or AGEs for short. It's a fitting acronym, isn't it? These harmful compounds form when meats are smoked, cured, or cooked at very high temperatures. You can think of AGEs as a type of rust on our internal machinery. They promote stiffness and oxidative stress, which is the very definition of wear and tear on our cells, especially in our joints and blood vessels. Instead of a processed ham or turkey sandwich, What about using some tender leftover roasted chicken from last night's dinner? Or making a delicious salmon or tuna salad? These options give you that wonderful, satisfying protein your body needs to stay strong, but without adding all that extra fuel to the inflammatory fire. Now, switching from a cookie to berries feels quite straightforward, doesn't it? But what about the foods we consider our everyday basics? The things we've been eating our entire lives? You might be very surprised to learn that two of the most common inflammation triggers are likely the very foundation of many of your daily meals. Let's start with number 3, refined carbohydrates. This is your classic white bread, white pasta, white rice, and most crackers and cereals. For decades, these have been staples in our homes. But here's the problem. I want you to imagine a whole grain of wheat as a complete, perfect little package of nutrition. It has an outer shell, the bran, which is full of fiber. It has a nutrient-rich core, the germ. When this grain is refined to make white flour, it's stripped of that protective bran and that nourishing germ. All the good stuff is taken away, and what's left is mostly the starchy center. When you eat it, your body digests it incredibly quickly, and it hits your bloodstream almost as fast as pure sugar. It causes that same blood sugar spike and that same release of inflammatory messengers we talked about earlier. The solution is to embrace the whole grain. Making the simple switch to bread that says 100% whole wheat or 100% whole grain on the label can make a world of difference. Or even better, start exploring the wonderful world of other whole grains like hearty oatmeal for breakfast, fluffy quinoa in a salad, or rich, nutty-tasting brown rice alongside your evening meal. These give your body the slow-burning, steady energy it craves without ever sounding that internal alarm. Now, for our fourth food, I want you to prepare yourself because this next one might really surprise you. For years, many of us were told that these were the healthy choice to have in our kitchens. I'm talking about many common vegetable oils, specifically those high in omega-6 fatty acids like soybean oil, corn oil, sunflower, and safflower oil. These are in everything from salad dressings to baked goods to margarines. Here's the little-known secret that is so important. Our bodies need a delicate balance between two types of fats, omega-6s and anti-inflammatory omega-3s. Think of it like a perfectly balanced seesaw. But our modern diet has become so completely overwhelmed with these omega-6 rich oils that it's like a giant is sitting on one side of the seesaw. It throws our entire system out of balance and actively promotes a state of inflammation. I would be so interested to hear from you in the comments. Is this news to you? It's a piece of information that shocks so many people when they first hear it. So what's the answer? It's about tipping that seesaw back into balance. Start using oils that are rich in those calming omega-3s and healthy monounsaturated fats. Extra virgin olive oil is my absolute favorite. It's wonderful for salad dressings and sautéing over low to medium heat. For cooking at higher temperatures, avocado oil is a fantastic and stable choice. These small changes in your pantry can have a profound impact on how you feel. We've cleaned out the pantry and the refrigerator, but there's one final hidden saboteur we have to confront, and it has nothing to do with what you buy, but everything to do with how you cook. This brings us to our fifth and final category, fried foods. I know, we all love that satisfying golden brown crunch. There's a reason comfort food so often means something fried. But the cost to our joints and our energy levels can be incredibly high. Remember those harmful AGEs, the internal rust we talked about with processed meats? Well, deep frying is like a super factory for them. The combination of intense heat and the types of unstable oils typically used for frying creates an absolute flood of these inflammatory compounds. Our bodies then have to work overtime, trying desperately to clean up the damage, which can leave us feeling stiff, swollen, and exhausted. It's a moment of temporary pleasure that we often pay for with a much longer period of discomfort. The wonderful news is that we live in an age with incredible kitchen tools that can give us that same satisfying texture without that inflammatory price tag. An air fryer is a brilliant invention that can make chicken, fish, or even vegetables wonderfully crispy with just a teaspoon of healthy oil. Roasting vegetables in the oven brings out their natural sweetness and gives them a beautiful texture. And baking a piece of salmon with lemon and herbs instead of frying it not only preserves its delicate flavor, but protects all of its amazing anti-inflammatory omega-3 benefits. So, let's take a deep breath and look at the beautiful, empowering blueprint you've just created for yourself. We're swapping sugary, empty snacks for vibrant, life-giving berries. We're choosing wholesome, nourishing proteins like roasted chicken or fish over processed deli meats. We're embracing hearty, whole-grain bread instead of the nutrient-stripped white loaf. We're drizzling our salads with beautiful golden olive oil and clearing our cupboards of those inflammatory vegetable oils. And we're rediscovering the simple joy of roasting, baking, and air frying our foods to delicious perfection. I want to be very clear. This is not about deprivation. It is never, ever about taking all the joy out of eating. This is about empowerment. It's about love. It's about making small, intentional choices that honor the amazing body that has carried you through a lifetime of experiences. Every single time you make one of these simple swaps, you are sending a powerful message of healing and care to every single cell. If all of this feels like a lot to take in at once, I want to invite you to start with just one thing this week. Just one. Perhaps it's switching your cooking oil. Or maybe it's simply adding a handful of spinach to your morning eggs. I would love for you to commit to your one thing right now by sharing it in the comments. It's a wonderful way to inspire our whole community. I truly believe, with all my heart, that our later years can be our most vibrant, energetic, and joyful years. You have so much power to feel better, one beautiful, nourishing meal at a time. If this conversation was helpful to you, please consider sharing it with a friend, a sister, or a neighbor who might need to hear this message of hope today. Thank you so much for spending this precious time with me. I'm Dr. Emily Hart, and I am so deeply honored to be on this wellness journey with you.